We're here. We're finally here. We're going to talk about Venom, Let There Be Carnage. You and I actually went and saw this together. That's pretty
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah.
I'm actually disappointed that Adrian's not here with us to discuss because I know she would have loved to hear this conversation. But, dude, you already know kind of how I feel. I kind of know how
Yeah.
you feel a little bit. But and you know I could rant forever about this, but be honest. Give me your brutally honest opinion, even if you disagree with me. What do you think of Venom? Let There Be Carnage.
It's a steaming pile of dog shit.
Agreed.
I mean,
Agreed.
I was like watching this. I'm like, fuck, I'm like Tom Hardy, Woody Harrelson. Like, what have they got? What has Sony got you for to be doing this?
I,
Like,
I'm there like, I'm so glad I didn't bring my girlfriend to this. She'd be mad at me. She'd be like, Matt, why'd you take me to this piece of shit movie? She would have stabbed me in the throat. She's like, you're never taking me to the movies again. It was so bad. It was, but I love that it was bad because it means I get to just rant. But I'm not here. I went in. I want everyone to know. I went in with an open mind. I lowered my opinion and I said it will. And I actually said to you before the movie started, I said this will probably be better than the first one.
oh
And
no,
halfway through the
oh
movie,
no,
I leaned over to you and I said, I can't believe this is worse than the first one. Like, because on paper, it sounds great. You got Andy Serkis directing.
Yeah.
You've got one of the most beloved and most wanted villains from all of Marvel Comics finally on screen. You got him played by an A-list incredible actor. And somehow, some way, they make it all fall apart into complete dog shit. Like, okay, let's be nice. Let's be nice. Let's say all the things we liked about the film. I have one thing I'll say.
yep, yep.
The design of Carnage as the character, he looked cool. He looked very threatening. He looked like the comic. I like that. He was a bit taller, but that's okay. So was Venom in this. That was cool. So he
Is
looks
he usually
really
shorter
cool.
or?
They're usually both him and Venom are usually like human size, like maybe a little bit bigger than a human, but
Yeah,
in this they're like 8 foot or whatever, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. You want to make him look cool, make him tall, make him threatening. That's fine. I'll also say Woody Harrelson's performance. So at the end credit scene of Venom, I hated that wig on him. It looked so cheesy. In this, like they've fixed his hair.
Yeah.
I look this personality for Carnage is not the type of character I grew up with. He was more like the Joker, a bit more laughy, more hyperactive. From my understanding, in the modern, it's more like this. He's a bit more like Silence of the Lambs sort of thing. And I think Woody Harrelson, with what he had, did a good job for the most
yeah.
part. Like,
He did all right. Like he did okay with what he was given, but I wish he had more to work with. Like I felt like he didn't have enough to work with. There was not enough. Do you know what I mean? Like he was just very. I don't know, like, because I don't, you know, like, I don't know, like, again, I don't read the comics. I don't know the comics. Comics fans would probably, you know, think, oh no, it's just not supposed to go like that or whatever. Or,
yeah,
but like,
it's okay.
I just felt like
well, you're going
there
with
was-
a blank slate, so
there was so
you
much
have no-
more.
Yeah.
There was so much more you could do with his character. His character just like what I barely knew much about him. Like what he's on is an inmate going to death row. Okay. He has this.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
The girlfriend. What was up with the girlfriend? I had no idea who the fuck she was. Like, and Matt's like, oh yeah, she's in the comic book and this and that. I'm like, that's great. I don't know who the fuck she is. Like, she's just some chick that blows shit. Like,
Yeah. And it does feel weird, and I've seen other superhero films of lesser quality fall in this trap too, where they're like, they give a power a superpower, or give a character a superpower. And they're like, well, everyone else has superpowers. But like, the thing with Venom and Carnage, they've explained why they have those powers. With her, she's just some meta-human thing, and you just got to accept it. We don't know about a backstory. We just knew that they went... Like, we have little bits and pieces, but in 90 minutes, there's only so much you can do. And yeah, they've got a smaller like cast this time around, but they still don't feel like real people. They don't talk like real people. There's never a conversation that lasts more than 60 seconds.
yeah. Well, I was just gonna say as well, like about the whole 90-minute thing, and I don't know if you felt this, but I felt like this movie was probably originally about 2.5 hours, and they've chopped it down to 90 minutes, and they've just cut all the like the extended talking sequences like super
Dude,
short. That's the impression I got. Like
if it
I
was
got the
2 hours, this movie would have been unwatchable because if it was the same movie but longer, it just means okay, like it means we would have spent an hour and a half, maybe more, without Venom and like Venom and Carnage. They meet each other at the end and then they fight, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like they're so spread apart. There's nothing like nothing happens in this movie. And maybe that's the good thing. Maybe it's good that it's 90 minutes because if it was 2 hours and nothing happened, it would have been incredibly boring. But instead with this, the editing is so quick and choppy and clunky that it doesn't give you time to be bored. They've created a problem. Like they've fixed a problem by creating another problem. They've cut out all the boring stuff and they've made it real quick. But now it moves at such a breakneck pace, it's hard to keep up. Like, I think one of the biggest criticisms Rise of Skywalker had, Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, was the first act. It was really fast and choppy and quick. This is like that, plus they're on meth. Like the editor was on meth while editing this. It's like, it's like, wait, what happened? Right.
Well, that's why I thought it went longer because I'm watching. I'm like, it's so choppy. Like as you said, it was like felt like 60 seconds max at each scene. I'm like, surely this was longer, and the studio was like, oh yeah, let's cut it down as much as we can. We got to chop it up. Like Sony was like, we're gonna chop it up as much as we can. We're gonna cut as much as we can to, I don't know. Like I reckon it would be 5 as long if they had Venom and Carnage meet sooner, like beforehand.
If you gave them a second fight scene in this film, oh my god, I think I would have loved it so much more because, maybe he loses the first time and then the second time, like the stakes would have been risen. But instead, and this goes into my biggest criticism of the film, like, so when he first meets him, he gets scared. He goes, oh no, that's a red one. He's all scared. And it's like, okay, finally you've given us an emotional character moment for Wait, but you're playing it off as a joke. And that's the biggest problem with this film. It's joke. No one has time to give you anything to do with character development or story work or nothing to do with anything else. There's too many jokes. And for me, 95% of the jokes don't land for me. I find I can't, in the comics, just so you know, in case you're unaware, Venom is like a fearsome, kind of scary, brutal force. And in this, he's a silly little clown puppy dog. And I can't believe they did this, but they made him annoying. He was not annoying in the first one. In the first movie, he was jokey and stuff, but he was still, kind of serious. Sometimes Eddie was scared of him. In this, he's like a little toddler constantly pulling on his sleeve.
He's a joke.
And sometimes I just wanted him to shut the fuck up. And all the scenes where Venom's not in it, it's such a breath of fresh air. Whenever you see that Woody Harrelson's by himself, oh my god, the movie it feels so much better because there's not someone yapping in your ear all the time. I know that's meant to be the point of the movie, but that's a bad movie. Like
it was too much. It was too much. Like it's just like with Venom, you just do it a bit. You don't just oversaturate it. And I feel like the whole film it oversaturated how much he was trying to put in his comedy, and I was just too much. And I was just like, man, can you just shut up for a second? Like he's just talking way too fucking much. And I just got over it. And
oh, sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say as well, and the tone's all over the place. It's like, oh, are we gonna be like this funny, hilarious, like superhero type movie, or we're gonna have this grounded? And it just kept going all over the place. Like it didn't know what it wanted to be. Like with the scenes of Woody Harrelson, they're kind of like more grounded and more serious. But then you have like Tom Hardy and Venom, and it's all just like comedy and shit. It's just like all a laugh. And I was just like, there's no like, it just didn't mesh.
Like it feels like bad improv, but I know it's not improv. Like to Tom Hardy's credit, he's doing an all right job. Like he's acting annoyed, he's acting pissed off. He is believable, right? But that doesn't mean that it's well put together. Like this writing is fucking annoying. It is so annoying, and it sucks out all the tension. There's no tension ever in this movie. Unless it's Woody Harrelson by himself. There's no tension, there's no drama, there's definitely no drama at all. And it's so cringy, some of this quote unquote comedy.
Can we talk about the rave scene? Can we talk about that rave scene? That
Why?
fucking race scene. That
I
race
said,
scene. Oh,
when he picked
man.
up the mic, I leaned over to you and I'm like, he better not fucking rap. He just starts rapping, I'm out of here.
You know what, man?
Instead, he just, he went and gave a shitty speech. He's like, Eddie doesn't let us be free. And they're like, nice costume, dude. Since when did a costume have moving teeth and tongue? It's not a costume.
And he's like an 8 foot tall, like 2 foot wide alien. Like, which human being's gonna be like, oh yeah, bro, that's a pretty cool costume. Like, oh yeah. Like,
also, another movie
tall.
happened. There's like, it's been on the news, an alien's been here, the Life Foundation. Nah, it's a good Halloween costume.
Yeah.
No.
I would say if he rapped, this would have improved my score in this movie. So I would have been all for it. I'm like, fuck
funny.
it. You're throwing it in the towel at this point. Just fuck it. Just sing it. Just give me some entertainment. So. So yeah, it's just it was bad. I mean, like the first Venom, first Venom, I don't really remember anything about it except the few times that Tom Hardy and Venom were kind of getting to know each other, which I thought was good. A good thing they did when they were getting to know each other and but it was more subtle then. This one's just over the top. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, they had space in between it. They gave it to you in chunks. It wasn't a rapid machine gun fire. Like yeah, it was. I've never been so annoyed by a film before, and it hurts more because I like the character and I want him to do good, and I can't believe Sony thought this movie was acceptable. Like, this is why I get mad at Sony, because like the post-credits scene,
you're keen for Morbius now.
Here's the thing, it's like, I feel like Andy Serkis knows better than this. So I'm thinking maybe there's a lot of studio interference here.
He's a talented dude. Like, he knows his shit. He knows his stuff with his writing and his film. He's a good actor. Like, I definitely think there was something to do with studio in this. There had to be, without a doubt.
Studio interference, like, it makes a lot of sense. Sony has a bad reputation doing stuff like this, especially with the Spider-Man films. But wow, it is. I can't believe I cringe so much. Something we should say, because a lot of people are going to leave this film excited because of the Spider-Man cameo, which, by the way, spoiler alert for the end credits scene. You had a Spider-Man cameo. Feels kind of weird to see Venom licking a picture of a high school student. No.
Did you find that cringy?
It feels like a very forced cameo that clearly Marvel did not interact with, because all that footage is from Spider-Man Far From Home. Like, none of that was shot particularly for them. I thought it was a bit cringy, but there's cringier stuff. To the film's credit, though, I will give it one more compliment. The fight between Venom and Carnage was cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool. But, we're used to CGI action fest by now. It's nothing over the top and particularly impressive or amazing, but he was a better villain than Riot, who we had from the last movie. But
I just wish he had more to do. Like, I just felt like there was just nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like, there just wasn't that much to his character. He could have delved way more into his character. Like,
I do not understand how anyone can, over the age of maybe 14, could find this to be an entertaining, good movie. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, it just feels like so messy, and like it's rotten on Rotten Tomatoes. I just pulled it up here. It's at 59%. But I feel like that's even too high. The audience is 84. High.
It should be.
I don't understand it.
It should be lower than the first Venom. The first Venom I thought was better than this. Like, the first Venom, like, I don't remember anything about the first Venom. Like, I don't remember that much, but I still would watch this, like, the first Venom over this movie any day of the week. Like,
yeah. I feel like everyone who compliments this film, who likes this film, they like it for two reasons. They're happy that Carnage is finally in a movie. Like, they're not even judging it because it's a good movie. They're judging it because they like the character from a different source material. And they're liking it. And the only thing everyone talks about is, the post-credit scene, the post-credit scene. It's like they didn't even watch the movie. They just watched the post-credit scene. Yeah. But yeah, it's a post-credit scene that could lead to something interesting and cool. But the movie sucks, but no one's willing to. But people just go, oh. You ask these like Marvel fans or Sony fans, you go, oh, what'd you think of the movie? Oh, the post-credit scene was so good. What'd you think of the movie? Oh, the post-credit scene was so good. What'd you think of the movie? Oh, well, it was great. No, there's no way you could convince me that. Oh, it had a really cool end action scene, and the rest of it is filler. It just doesn't. The way it's written just feels like we're trapped in 2003. Like, this is how we made superhero movies. They're like, we've got the origin story and they go to separate paths and there's only one fight scene between them at the end. And it's like, we've evolved as a society, as a culture.
We've evolved as a society.
This is a first draft from 2006. Like, this is without a doubt this is without a doubt the worst film I've seen in the cinema all year. Now, I know we've been locked down, so it hasn't been a lot, but I've seen a lot of films in the cinema still, and it's the worst one. It's the worst written, the worst directed, and the worst edited. I'm not saying it's complete trash. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen, but, it breaks my heart to see characters I love in a movie this bad. It feels, especially in the first act, it feels unwatchable. Like, towards the end, I feel like it gets better. They stop getting... when Venom stops talking and they just fight, and the takes are longer and it's less choppy, it starts feeling like a real movie. But before that, it's like, I've seen student films with better editing, man. Like, this is bad with a capital B.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I'm
sad talking about this. I'm in a bad mood now.
Yeah. And I remember, like, to everyone listening, I remember I was sitting next to Matt in the cinema, and Matt kept just looking at me at just different points throughout the whole cinema, and I just kept thinking, oh yeah, he's hating this. He's absolutely hating this.
I kept looking at you, and there was a kid next to us. I was looking at the kid because a lot of the time there were these terrible jokes that made me cringe, and I just was like, maybe I'm biased. I should look at someone else to see if they like it or how they feel. And like, this kid, most of the jokes weren't landing for him. And then for you,
which is another weird
too.
thing. It's like, it's receptive towards children, but you're having like all these like, because I remember you telling me something like it was going to, like, the originally thing about making Venom and MA, and it's just like all over the place. Or
the first one was meant to be R, but no, it's like the comedy is like a PG. Not even PG, it's like a G-rated slapstick. Like, it's the comedy.
Yeah.
It's a type of comedy you do for like little kids, like the stuff you'd see on like, I don't know, something slapstick like Bugs Bunny or whatever. It's not mature comedy.
Yeah.
But then they're also like,
it needs to elevate.
Yeah, but why you got such a silly little thing when they've got these vicious teeth and their tongues, and they're always talking about biting people's heads off and they're gonna eat people alive. And then there's constant swearing. Like, every scene they're saying shit or asshole or dick. They said the word dick way too many times for a superhero movie, by the way.
They said fuck.
They said fuck. And like, they ruined the best emotion moment for emotional, like, it was really emotional. Cletus is talking about how he just wanted a friend and blah, blah. And Venom just goes, fuck this guy, and bites his head off. Again, ruined a great moment of drama for a cheap joke. Like, a very low-hanging fruit, like, very easy to make joke. None of the comedy in here is like witty or highbrow or smart. It's all low-hanging fruit that anyone could come up with. But yeah, it's the tone is so weird because they're trying to have they've got these scary faces and they're talking about decapitating people, but then they have like this slapstick children's comedy element to it. Like, this is the worst tone clash I've ever seen in a movie. It's I feel like the first one did it better. I felt like the first one, the tone they set was more kind of meshed well. It was more stable, more in line of what was, I was kind of hoping more for the second one. Because like, as you said, like, I didn't have coming this movie like the highest expectations either. My expectations were pretty low, and I was watching and I was like, ish, like. Yeah. The first one I wasn't a big fan of. Like, a lot of people liked it more than me, but like, I walked away saying it's an okay average movie. I didn't like the direction they took it in, but I was like, I'm willing to admit it's an okay film. It didn't do anything too bad except for that lobster scene, I feel. But this movie, and you're right, like, I don't think they had a good clash of tones either, but
It was better than this
nowhere.
one.
It was nowhere as bad as this.
Yeah.
This one, it's like I feel like Sony wanted to make Disney feel better about having Spider-Man and Venom team up. So they decided to make a film that was more children's friendly, while also bringing in one of the most scary and monstrous villains for some reason. And it did not work. Like, why between this and Morbius and all the other characters they're picking all these like dark characters, but they want to treat them like they're babies,
which is stupid. Just go bite the bullet and make it like hard M, which is hard PG-13 for Americans, or MA. Just bite the bullet and do it. Don't go for this silly slapstick shit. Just, you know what I mean? Yeah.
You can also have.
Do you know Cletus was actually supposed to be in the first Venom? I found that out recently, but they pushed him back.
Oh, really? Well, look, I also think it's weird because Cletus is Venom's arch enemy. So by killing him off, it's weird. You're kind of killing a lot of potential plot threads to do with Venom, which you'd never explored. Like, they barely even met. So again, it's called Let There Be Carnage, but Carnage feels like he's barely in it, as a threat at least. And so it's like, it feels weird. Like, if anything, you should have built up to him and put him in the third one. But I guess at some point they've got the rights to Spider-Man.
Oh,
so they're gonna...
bro, that fucking tornado in the prison. What was that? What the fuck was that?
I don't know. It's not from the comics. It's just all of a sudden they turned Jim Carrey from The Mask. I'm glad you brought it up because I cringed at that too. I was like, why are they...
bro.
Why? Like, I get his Carnage's superpower. His thing is, unlike Venom, he can turn like parts of his body into weapons and blades and stuff. But like, nah, let's just turn him to Tasmanian Devil from Looney Tunes. Why?
I don't know.
It's so dumb. All right.
Yeah.
Look, anything else to say before we move on?
Nah, let's just move on. I'm done.
All right.